I was sitting in Jess's bathroom during her birthday party, scrolling through her iPad because she said I could pick the music. And that's when I found a group chat called Fit Check Court, with my name mentioned 47 times. Let me back up because you need to understand what these girls meant to me before any of this makes sense. Jess, Amara, and Kayla had been my core group since sophomore year. We met in AP World History when our teacher made us do a group project on the Armen Empire, and something just clicked. Within a month, we were eating lunch together every single day, sleeping over at each other's houses on weekends, sharing clothes, finishing each other's sentences, the whole thing. Jess was the loud one, the planner, the person who always decided where we were going and what we were doing. Amara was quieter but brutally funny in this dry way that would catch you off guard. And Kayla was the sweet one, the mediator, the girl who remembered everyone's favorite snack and showed up with it when you were having a bad day. Me, I was just Harper. I didn't really have a role. I was just happy to be there, honestly. Before this group, I'd had friends, sure, but never a group that felt like mine. Never people I could text at 2 in the morning about literally nothing and know they'd answer. Junior year had been rough for me at home. My parents were going through a separation, and these three girls basically carried me through it. They showed up. They listened. They made me feel like I had somewhere safe to land. So when I tell you what I found on that iPad, I need you to understand that these weren't casual friends. These were the people I trusted most in the entire world. Now here's the thing about me that matters for this story. I've always been kind of experimental with how I dress. I wouldn't call it crazy or avant-garde or anything. I just like mixing things. I'll wear a vintage blazer with wide-leg jeans and combat boots one day, then show up in a floral sundress and sneakers the next. My mom used to take me thrifting every Saturday before the separation, and I think that's where I developed this habit of just grabbing whatever caught my eye and figuring out how to make it work later. Fashion has always been this thing that makes me feel like myself, especially during the times when everything else felt unstable. When my parents started fighting every night, picking out an outfit in the morning was the one thing I could control. It sounds small, but it mattered to me. The girls knew this. They knew fashion was my thing. Jess would even text me photos of outfits before school asking if they passed the Harper test. Amara once told me she wished she had the confidence to dress the way I do. Kayla bought me a sewing kit for my birthday because I mentioned once, that I wanted to learn to alter thrift store finds. These are people who saw what fashion meant to me and seemingly respected it. They celebrated it to my face. And that's what makes everything that happened next feel like a specific kind of betrayal that I still don't fully know how to describe. So, Jess's 17th birthday party. Late March. Her parents let her have like 20 people over, backyard setup, fairy lights, a speaker blasting Sabrina Carpenter. I showed up wearing this outfit I was genuinely proud of: high-waisted brown trousers I'd found at Goodwill, a cream-colored cropped sweater, gold layered necklaces, and these chunky loafers I'd saved up for. I felt great. The girls all complimented me when I walked in. Jess literally said, "Okay, Harper, you ate that." Amara nodded. Kayla squeezed my arm. About an hour in, I went inside to use the bathroom, and Jess's iPad was sitting on the counter next to the sink because she'd been using it to control the playlist through the Bluetooth speaker. She told me earlier I could switch the music whenever, so I picked it up, opened it, and right there on the screen was an iMessage notification from a group chat. The preview showed Amara's name and the words, "He's actually wearing those shoes, El Mao." I know I should have put it down, I know that, but my name was in the message preview and my hands were already moving. I tapped it. The group chat was called Fit Check Court. It had three members: Jess, Amara, and Kayla, just the three of them, without me. I scrolled up and my stomach dropped so hard I actually sat down on the edge of the bathtub. There were months of messages, months. Every single day, one of them would screenshot my outfit, sometimes from my Instagram story, sometimes a photo they'd clearly taken of me without me knowing, and post it in the chat. Then they'd rate it. They literally used a number scale, 1 through 10, and the comments were not kind. One message from Jess, dated February 8th, said, "Why does she dress like a divorced art teacher having a crisis? I literally can't." Amara replied, 3/10, generous. A photo of me in a plaid skirt and turtleneck from January had Kayla, the sweet one, writing, "She tries so hard and it never lands, it's almost sad." There was one from just that morning. Jess had posted a photo of the outfit I was currently wearing, the one they'd complimented 20 minutes ago, and wrote, "The loafers are sending me to an early grave." Amara gave it a 4. Kayla gave it a 5 and added a "bless her heart." I sat in that bathroom for 50 minutes. My hands were shaking so badly that I almost dropped the iPad twice. I took screenshots. I don't know why exactly, maybe because part of me already knew that if I confronted them, they'd deny it, and I needed proof that I wasn't making this up. I sent the screenshots to my own phone, put the iPad back on the counter, and walked out. I tried to act normal. I really did. I stood in the backyard and laughed at someone's joke and held a cup of lemonade I never drank. But Kayla must have noticed something because she came over and said, "Hey, you okay? You look kind of pale." And I couldn't do it. I looked at her and said, "I saw the group chat, Kayla." Her face went white. Not pink, not a slow blush of embarrassment, white like someone had pulled a plug and drained all the blood out of her. She whispered, "What group chat?" And I said, "Fit check court, don't." She didn't say anything for about 5 seconds and then she turned around and walked straight to Jess. I watched them whisper. I watched Jess's eyes go wide. I watched Amara get pulled into the huddle. And then all three of them looked at me across the yard at the same time. And I have never in my life felt so small. Jess walked over. She had this expression that was half angry, half panicked, which was a combination I'd never seen on her before. She said, "Harper, you went through my iPad? Not, I'm sorry. Not, let me explain." Her first instinct was to make me the one who did something wrong. The next 3 days were the worst of my junior year, and I'm including the week my dad moved out. The confrontation at the party was short because I refused to have a full breakdown in front of 20 people, so I just left. Didn't say goodbye to anyone. Drove home with blurred vision because I was crying so hard I probably shouldn't have been behind the wheel. That night, my phone exploded, but not with apologies. Jess sent me a long paragraph saying I violated her privacy by going through her messages and that the group chat was just jokes, and I was taking it way too seriously. Amara sent a shorter message that basically said, "It was never that deep, we all joke about each other." Which was interesting because I didn't have a secret group chat dedicated to rating their outfits on a numerical scale every single day for months. Kayla didn't text me at all that night. She waited until the next morning and sent, "I feel really bad, can we talk?" I left her on read because I didn't trust myself to respond yet. By Monday, the situation had leaked. I don't know who told people, maybe someone at the party overheard, maybe one of the three of them tried to get ahead of the story, but suddenly everyone in our grade knew about Fit Check Court. And here's where it got worse, people were split. Half the people were on my side, saying what they did was cruel and two-faced. But the other half, they were saying I was being dramatic, that it was just a private chat, that friends talk about each other all the time, and I was naive to think they didn't. One girl, Maya, who I barely even talked to, posted on her story, "If you think your friends don't have a chat without you, you're living in a fantasy." That got like 80 replies. Suddenly, my humiliation wasn't just personal, it was a school-wide debate topic. And the worst part was I started second-guessing myself. Was I overreacting? Do all friend groups do this? Is it normal to rate someone's appearance behind their back and then compliment them to their face? I'd lie awake at night cycling through every outfit I'd ever worn, wondering which ones had been screenshot and submitted to the court for judgment. I stopped putting effort into my clothes. For 2 weeks, I wore the same rotation of jeans and plain t-shirts. And I hated myself for it because I knew that meant they'd won. They'd taken the one thing that made me feel like me and made it feel like a joke. Here's the part that still keeps me up at night. About a week after everything blew up, Kayla finally came to talk to me in person. She caught me after school in the parking lot, and she was crying before she even started talking. She told me she was sorry, that she knew it was wrong, and that she'd wanted to stop participating for a while, but was afraid Jess would turn on her if she said anything. And then she told me something I wasn't expecting. She said the whole thing started because of me. Not because I did something mean, but because last September I'd offhandedly said that Jess's homecoming outfit wasn't my favorite. That's it, that's what I said. I barely even remembered it. But apparently Jess was devastated, and the group chat started the very next day. Jess told Amara and Kayla that if I could judge her outfit, they could judge mine. And it just never stopped, so there it was. I'd lit the match without even knowing I was holding one. That was 2 months ago. Kayla and I have talked a few times since. It's not the same, and I don't know if it ever will be, but she's the only one who actually apologized like she meant it. Jess and Amara act like I don't exist, which honestly might be easier than the alternative. I've started dressing like myself again, mostly. Some days it still feels loaded, like every outfit is a statement I'm making to an audience I didn't ask for. I think about what I said about Jess's homecoming dress, and I genuinely feel bad about it. I should have kept that opinion to myself. But does one offhand comment justify months of secret mockery? Or did I start something I didn't have the right to start? I really don't know anymore. So tell me, do you think what they did was a fair reaction to what I said? Or did they take it somewhere that no amount of context can excuse?